Anyway, I guess I'm gonna turn in this, what was this? I'll just do this. I don't know why Velma had it, but this is happening.
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? I keep wondering if it's come in.
Here it is.
Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink on Mr. Holcomb's signature. I can't thank you enough. Still, you can have the bits I was going to spend at the bar this week. And you know what? Take my old tossball blocker too. Never get the chance to use it these days.
That's done. Right, so why does it want me here again? Oh, right, it put me back on that. I need to buy something from here, don't I? Yes, I do. Oh, MSI! That's what MSI means. Okay. They wanted me to talk to Sanjay, is that his name? So what's in here? Oh, is this the other side? Ooh, that's a neat looking scythe. I think I have that. Well, I'm just gonna look on your guys' computer here. View data. Summary report on conditions within Stellar Bay. Productivity has continued to improve since relaxing MSI's old restrictions and making allowances for employee benefits such as time off for illness and personal leave. 24.9% reductions in shift length and 52% more positive feedback. Fishery output is up 15.2% this year, showing a continuing but slowing growth trend. Decreased gains compared to previous years are likely due to deterioration of materials and morale. Occasional shortfalls are supplies and the gradual loss of personnel to marauders. 72% hostile wildlife, 10.3%, and iconoclast recruitment, 17.4%. Reconciliation with the board remains a long-term goal, but immediate concern is defending the city from hostile elements. Repairing damage to city walls continues approximately 32.8% of our annual budget. The best solution would be to an influx of skilled defenders and weaponry, but given the aforementioned factors and the effects on local population, such a solution remains unlikely. Back. Working slogans. MSI profit margins are stellar, resulting in a 43.28% more nutrient dense than the leading brands. Stellar Bay, a tolerable center of commerce in hostile and chaotic galaxy. What's this? Note for revisions. Your report looks excellent. The numbers are front and center, and you highlight our recent production gains nicely. One small adjustment. Could you increase the page margins by 17.3%? Want them to match the formatting of the other reports for maximum readability. Don't know what any of that means. Are you a person? Not really.
MSI keeps the fishery running and the walls intact.
Otto, I've been checking your hours and you've well past due for some time off. Why don't you take a few days? You spend entirely too much time stirring at that terminal. Okay. Maybe this guy doesn't suck. I know I have to talk to him, don't I, for something. No. Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, new business turns up at last.
I mean, I suppose.
Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
That's very generous of you.
Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
Okay, he's
Not so generous
very
I can't
self-centered.
drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself?
Me, I'm charting my own path, going where the wind takes me.
What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Alcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway.
Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured,
Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna.
If I have to eat one more weird science project passed off as food in the Sprat colony, I'm gonna stab someone. Afraid not.
Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
If you're free of the other corporations, why would you want to bring them back?
Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
Sounds like you're freer than anyone else in Halcyon. Why not embrace it?
Exactly what I would have said, if I'd been paying attention.
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
What, Ellie?
It's as though the
I
good vicar
agree
has
with
plucked
Ellie.
the very words from my brain.
That's a coward's
I have
answer.
people to look after. I need to be practical.
That's why Mr. Nanvi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Ingenious plan? Don't get me wrong, I'm starting to admire your sand, but I bet you could overcomplicate a sisty sandwich.
What a charmingly roguish turn of phrase. Allow me to express my thanks at your confidence and assure you that my plan is indeed sufficiently complicated.
Uh-huh.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
This lady knows what's going on.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
Fine, but how do you mean to do that?
With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course.
I don't know what that is.
If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
This Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
Never realized fighting the bureaucracy could be this interesting.
It is quite the rush.
I don't have that. No, that's locked. What does you have the Bolt 52? What's the other part of your plan?
I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but I mustn't get ahead of myself.
You do tend to do that.
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
I mean, I guess I'll get your Bolt 52. Wait, I can't do that either. I guess I'll get your Bolt 52.
Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Perhaps I can copy it and keep it for myself. Anyway, let me ask
What
you
can
something.
I do for you?
Looking for an information
Hiram?
broker.
Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate.
And I get to Devil's
You'd
Peak.
head south along the road and look for a mountain to the west. Not that I'd advise it. It's a terribly dangerous trek. But if you insist on going, I'd recommend taking a local guide. Nyoka would be a prime candidate.
If you can keep her sober.
I met Grim, the landing pad guard.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
He did a bang-up job.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you?
I have questions.
Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes.
How did the MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Do you mean that you initiated your own removal from the board?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1.
What happened to the other corporations?
As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost cause. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up.
How forward-thinking of you.
It's humane. But it's also good business sense.
It is.
Exhausted,
He's right.
sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Using the board's own tools against them. Clever.
That's what I thought. But the senior executives laughed in our faces and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Yet here you are.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI.
Must have pissed off some real big suits to get stuck with that.
On the contrary, I wrote lots of very important reports on behalf of top MSI officials before I was able to achieve this position. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws.
Because they're
I
assholes.
do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
What exactly do you want? Why exactly do you want back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Without the board, chaos would overtake the system. Working within the established order isn't a principle to snub one's nose at, Captain.
If you can't beat him, might as well join him and reach into their pockets.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
They treat you pretty roughly. Is it worth going back?
I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Leverage?
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52.
Uh-huh.
My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations.
Okay. What's their hazard clause?
It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
A necessary evil for the greater good of society.
That's exactly how the board describes it.
And they invoked it on Monarch?
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
You don't seem to think much of Graham. I don't know who Graham is yet, but you don't like him.
He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
I will admit, I am keen to meet their leader.
Well, be careful what you wish for. Graham has a habit of ruining everything, and everyone around him.
Maybe you should give him a chance.
A chance? They've been doing this for years, and
let's just say I know enough about Graham to be confident that he won't change. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels and pushes us further from the rest of the colony. He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
I'll talk about something else.
What can I do for you? Then it's good that I keep such... What can I do for you?
I think that's it. Okay. Interesting. So we do have a little bit of a similar situation as what we had on Edgewater, where there's some people who separate out of society, and we're gonna have to choose which side to stick with. I'm guessing.
Smells like racked in here. Oh, it does work. I bought some musk from Sebastian to cover up the saltuna smell.
Trust me, this is worse.
Let's see. Left field. Tossball betting. There's also a little way up there onto that building. Let's keep looking over here first. What's here? Hi.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games.
I'm not.
So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial Age Mammoths.
Who has the time to host politics now? They're all pretty great.
Aren't they just?
I'll just go
when
with
I
that.
get to worrying about the marauders outside, the
That's how I
raptidons
talk
chewing
to
at
other
the
people
walls,
about
I
like
just turn my
sports
transceiver
and
up to
what
drown
they
it all
do.
out.
It's
Most
like,
of the time,
that's
it's static
great.
on account
You
of
do the
frequency
sport.
being clogged up, but sometimes it's tossball. So, what can I do for you?
You said you're having trouble receiving tossball game transmissions?
Graham's always filling the airwaves with his propaganda, like it's done him any good. All it means is the tossball games get to us in fragments. Makes them real hard to watch.
Hmm.
Here to catch a game? I'm afraid the transmission's still pretty bad. What can I do for you?
I wonder if maybe we can, like, disable that transmission and then, like, have a better time of it, possibly. What is this place? I mean, it seems important, but there isn't a whole lot here.
I can take a hint.
Okay. We'll just steal everything in here and that'll be good for here. Anything over this way? Kind of. I stole 3 bits out of the garbage, but someone would lose their mind out because of that at some point. Most likely. Okay. Anything up here? I guess not. I don't know why this place is up here. Wow. Yeah, I don't see anything. Alright. Oh, I'm over here. And there's a few things I could steal. Okay, I see. That's kind of why this is here. So I can get to a place that no one else can get to. Okay. Sorry, Ellie. The elevators are not elevators. These are ladders, not elevators. I was gonna say that they seem to work pretty well, because you know sometimes in games you end up on like a ladder that's just not great. Or multiple ladders where you just don't stick really well and it's really easy to fall off of them. Okay, I can go inside this building. I can also go up around this side here. What's this? Employee login. Let's see. Patient records. Enter the name of the patient whose records you want to view. Nyoka. Medical engineer votes. Liver damage likely the result of prolonged alcoholism. Attitude problems likely the result of prolonged alcoholism. Frequent social withdrawal. Likely the result of prolonged alcoholism. Increased caffeinoid allotment. Allotment increased to high. Warning. Excessive caffeinoid consumption may lead to side effects. Irritability, fatigue, uncontrollable bowel movements, nausea, death. Oh. Interesting. Data storage. Notes from experiments as conducted by Dr. E. Williams. Reacticism and pep you up. I had hypothesized that this combination might awaken my mind and senses to the greater realities around us. If that were true, then it seems my faculties were quite overwhelmed in this instance. Shortly after the dosage, I experienced cold sweats, tremors, and mild paranoia. If it is perhaps due to these later effects that most of my notes on the subject are of little use. Nevertheless, the effects were most invigorating. I'll have to attempt a milder dosage once heart palpitations subside. Bushberry extract and debilirol. After my previous experience, I theorized that deadening the external senses might allow the mind's eye to glimpse the eternal. Alas, I was only partially successful. The combination of substances quickly rendered me both blind and feeble, so much that I soon fell into a stupor. I awoke some hours later in a pile of my own sick and most curious craving for Tiliterios? I don't know what those are. Sounds like Doritos. Closterine and triple dosage. File empty. Work in progress. Stellar Bride. She's a wide-eyed colonist from Earth. He's a hard-working Saltuna farmer from Monarch. Their attraction blossoms into a whirlwind of romance that transforms Stellar Bay. Chapter 3. A long way from Arkansas. You can put your things here, Mr. Elliot said, leading Abby into the dim apartment. Oh, this is, Call me Archibald. Okay. The Passion Broker. A renegade iconoclast driven by his ideals finds love in the arms of a mysterious man with a tortured past. Will he follow his lead or his heart? Tall, dark, and handsome. Oh wow, these are definitely things that I'm not going to read out. Clinic of the Heart. A battle-hardened young Earth Directorate soldier visits a remote clinic on Monarch to heal his injuries. But when he meets Gale, an elegant older nurse, she agrees to work on his heart as well. Interesting. Okay. So I guess this is the doctor's clinic. Oh, I could steal it from the dispensary, I guess. I'm guessing you are the doctor. Hello.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. And with sweet cheeks like those, I'd remember.
Whoa.
Quite the bedside manner, lady.
Well, it's so rare I get the pleasure of new company.
Mm-hmm.
What can Auntie Abigail do for you?
Let's see. Medical. I've been asked to pick up a caffeinoid supplement.
And what a helpful young lady you are. Nothing like a little pill to liven up the spirits.
Whiskey helps, too.
Please leave medical advice to the professionals.
She's a medical person, too.
Now, dearie, who's this pickup for?
Oh no, Auntie, you'll have to pry that secret from my sweet little cheeks.
Don't blame me if I puke on your shoes.
Aren't you a saucy thing? Now, I may not be a fresh young thing anymore, but with age comes experience, dearie.
This got weird fast.
Maybe some other time, then, when Auntie's personal allotment of stimulation is restored.
Uh-huh.
But I'd hate to send you away empty-handed. You were here for Caffeinoid, weren't you? Who's it for?
It's, private.
Now, there's no keeping secrets from Auntie Abigail. I'll tease it out of you one way or another. Also, I really do have to enter someone's name for the allotment. After all, I have to keep track of where our little pills wander off to.
I suppose that's reasonable.
Indeed. Now, how about you tell Auntie who this pickup's for?
If I tell her for that, she'll be mad, so I'm just gonna say this.
I'm so sorry, but with the iconoclasts and the marauder filth chasing away what little trade we get, I'm afraid I have to reserve my supply for Stellar Bay residents. Our reserves have gotten so low, I've even had to start locking the supply room upstairs. Isn't it a shame what some people will do to get a little extra?
You just can't trust people these days.
Except for you. I can tell. You've got one of those
I'm pretty sure I've
faces.
already stolen from you.
I'd make an exception for you if I could, my little cherub. Is there anyone else needing a special pickup from Auntie Abigail?
Nyoka?
Oh, her. It's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment if only she'd join MSI. Contribute like the rest of us. Now I've gone and said too much. And you know me, dearie. I don't like to pry.
When can Nyoka get her next dose?
I'm afraid it'll be the better part of a month. Our dear Nyoka tends to exhaust her supply rather quickly. Believe me, there's nothing I'd love better than to help you, but there's not much I can do. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his terminal upstairs. Even I can't access them.
You were in charge around here, Auntie. You sure ought to be.
Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, I'm just here to be a pretty face for the customers. And to keep an extra key to the supply room, for all the times Dr. Williams misplaced his.
Forgetful fellow, eh?
Careless experimentation with medicinal substances does take its toll, eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But until then, it's lots of fun.
Episodic pharmacological delirium is no laughing matter, young lady.
Where can I find this Dr. Williams?
In the town graveyard, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Poor man was always searching for the flower of enlightenment. On the way, he tried some rather daring substance combinations.
What is the flower of enlightenment?
It's a
Please explain.
symbol of some kind, dearie. Never you mind. The graveyard's near the southern ruins. You're certainly welcome to pay our respects, but the bodies tend to attract beasties. Do be careful. I'd hate for anything to happen to you, dearie.
Yes, I'll just have to figure this out on my own.
Chin up, dearie.
Well, that was definitely very strange. Okay, so... Oh, I bumped the allotment up, so I can just do that then. I can just do that.
Hello again, dearie. What can I get you?
I'm picking up caffeine.
Now that can't be. Ms. Ramnareem Wentworth has already exceeded
Ramnareem
the month's... Oh,
Rentworth.
dear me. She does have another dose in her allotment. How did I miss this?
Don't worry about it, Auntie. I'm sure you've been busy.
My, but you are a doll. Here's Nyoka's caffeinoid, and if I know her, she's probably ready for it by now. Do take care of yourself, dearie.
Okay. I think I'll be nice and I won't rob the town of their medical stuff. even if they are using it mostly recreationally. Okay, let's see. Right. Right. And that's there. And I think I finished searching over here, so we still got some more area to look at, really. Anything over here? No. I guess that leaves. Yeah, that leaves. There's weird growths growing around here. Are those... I think those are mushrooms. I thought they might be like fleshy sacks of grossness, but no, they're mushrooms. Which is somehow a little bit less gross, I guess. What's this place? Odd.
Someone's been killed!
What's up?
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Are you alright?
No! I just stepped in a dead man's blood.
Look, I've killed lots of
and
people
I
up
think
to this
one of the
point.
flies landed on my mouth.
You.
If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
Maybe not contemplate, but actually take a shower. You know, that's a thought. Huh. Hi. You look kind of important.
Good day to you.
I guess not.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit.
Sorry, didn't mean to startle you.
Most people don't. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves.
Ever thought about leave? Well, actually, how's that?
Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rap spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying.
Why did you decide to stay in the first place?
Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest periods between every work shift. No shift more than 10 hours long. It all sounds wonderful, until you realize there's only a few centimeters of repurposed steel between you and the deadliest creatures in the galaxy.
Seems like you'd want more than a few centimeters.
That's what she said.
Excuse
There's
me.
Truly no
Excuse
end
me,
to my
Ellie.
suffering.
Wow, you're very existential. My engineer's looking to get a dust bat casserole. Can you cook one of those?
That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
3,000 bits. I think I can afford that, but I'll get back to you on it.
Sure, just let me know.
Ever thought about leaving?
Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a regular basis, yours notwithstanding. And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved into green goop, what then?
Why don't you just tell me?
Nothing. That's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good standing with the board. So even if I could get out of here, no one's gonna hire me.
Not with that attitude.
Was there something else? Or did you just want to mock me?
I'll sleep for now.
Lucky you.
Okay. So how much money do I have? Yeah, I got way more than enough. I can just buy it.
I see you stuck around. If you got the bits, you got it. I got all the ingredients. Should only take about an hour in the oven. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
That's Not something I needed to know. Anyway, I'm gonna steal from you now. What's this? Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Is everything in here? I think it is. Oop. I almost got stuck. Okay. That's good for now. And this is place I... No, these are the apartments. He said someone was dead here. Right. Okay. So this is... probably this. Yep, I'm going to the right place for this. Okay. But real quick before I do, it looked like on the map I could look around here. I guess not. Ooh.
Not much I can do for this guy.
Just victim. Someone's been murdered! Don't worry, I don't think this has anything to do with the investigation. This probably not either. And neither this. And not that. And what's this? There's nothing on the victim at all. So what's this? The betting slip contains some incredibly bold wagers for some made for a team called Mostly Colonists. That's a left field tossball bet. Huh. Ragged outfits stuffed into the suitcase. Whoa, I leveled? Alright. A little bit spooky, wasn't expecting that. Okay, I'll just level up then.